If a Capricorn placement is there, they're gonna feel the need. I always say this, Capricorn and Cancer, those two sister signs, more than anything, they want to take care of things. Now, they go about it in very different ways, right? Like Cancer wants to emotionally take care of you, whereas Capricorn wants to be daddy and tell you what to do because daddy knows best, and mommy knows best. Mommy knows best when it comes to emotions and, how to protect yourself. And then daddy is like, you're being dumb. What's the plan? Because if the plan is to be dumb, you're doing really well. Okay, that's how a Capricorn parent, Capricorn friend, a Capricorn roommate is going to come at you. What's good, you guys? Welcome back to Yap Therapy. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I hope you're ready for the weekend. And I am here to feed you the good energy as we're approaching this weekend. Virgo season is, I think, here, right? So happy Virgo season. Organize your life, okay? Organize your mental state. Organize something, do something for yourself, for your health, okay? Ground yourself. Go touch grass. That's what I encourage you to do during this Virgo season. We're going to start it off hot and strong. I saw this picture that's a screenshot of a Reddit post. And for the life of me, I can't remember if this was discussed in another episode, like in the past. Like, I genuinely can't remember if me and Maya talked about this at some point. I feel like maybe we did, but then I'm like, maybe we didn't. Either way, I'm going to talk about it because I probably am not going to have the same exact thoughts, but I don't think we talked about it. Y'all let me know. Anyway, it's a Reddit post. It's about astrology. I'm going to post it here, and then I'm going to read it. So it's a text, basically, and it says, "Hey, Christine, sorry I haven't responded earlier. My concern is that you're a Capricorn. Our main goal is to keep things egalitarian without anyone being in charge or doming the household. I love Capricorns, but I don't think I could live with one or be in a band with another one. This Virgo/Gemini house is a special place where soft, mutable signs get to run free, untethered by cardinal authorities." There is so much to unpack here, and you just have no idea how much this little screenshot text, it brought joy to me because so much is said, and a lot of it is low-key accurate, some of it not. It just depends on who you are and how you view things, but I just think it is absolutely hilarious. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the fact that, of course, I don't know if she's the Virgo or the Gemini, maybe the Gemini, it's taking a while to respond to the text. I know this Capricorn is like annoyed because it's like, yo, am I in or not? Like, let me know, right? And here comes the little mutable sign and is like, oh, I don't know, actually, I don't think so. Like, they're like wishy-washy. But finally, at least you told the Capricorn what it is, and I'm sure the Capricorn's going to respect it. At least you were being honest. I mean, they're probably going to judge you. It depends on if it's a Capricorn that believes in astrology or not. Capricorn is one of those signs that it takes them a little bit longer to maybe believe in that stuff, right? Some signs are more into the occult and like spirituality and all that shit, right? Things that you can't see, but you can feel, right? Capricorn is one of those signs that's, a little bit cynical. So they might think, yeah, this is not going to work out. If you're making decisions based off of astrology, I don't respect you, right? Like some Capricorn might think that. But I just think it's so hilarious that she's talking about, listen, like us mutables, we want to keep things egalitarian. We don't want anyone to be thinking that they're running the household. And that is fair. Like if a Capricorn placement is there, they're going to feel the need. I always say this, Capricorn and Cancer, those two sister signs, more than anything, they want to take care of things. Now, they go about it in very different ways, right? Like Cancer wants to emotionally take care of you, whereas Capricorn wants to be daddy and tell you what to do because daddy knows best, and mommy knows best. Mommy knows best when it comes to emotions and, how to protect yourself. And then daddy is like, you're being dumb. What's the plan? Because if the plan is to be dumb, you're doing really well. Okay, that's how a Capricorn parent, Capricorn friend, a Capricorn roommate is going to come at you. I actually did a video talking about all the different signs and how they would be as roommates, right? And Capricorn obviously is the roommate that is setting goals and like has a schedule. Like, we need to clean this many times, like this is how it's supposed to be. Why are you late doing this? Like, they're gonna keep you on track. And personally, I think it's great to have a Capricorn placement. Maybe I'm biased as a Capricorn rising. Personally, I think it's great to have a Capricorn placement in your life, whether it's personal or professional, because they are going to make you better. Now, listen, there's ways that you can go about making people better. And I think, some people respond to different things better. Some people like a more gentle approach, and some people like to be pushed and told what to do and to be manhandled a little bit, right? Like, and I don't mean always like manhandle physically, like, manhandled like emotionally or mentally. Like, they like being told what to do. They like to be aggressively guided towards their destination. And a Capricorn placement will definitely do that for you. Now, if you don't respond well to that, yeah, you could probably look at Capricorn and be like, you're coming on way too strong. So I just think it's hilarious. Like, doming the household is so funny to me. Like, just that saying, doming the household. Yeah, like, honestly, whoever this is, they clocked Christine. You know what I mean? They let Christine know, hey, I see you. I see the energy that you can potentially bring here. And I don't know if we want that, so at least they set the right boundaries. But did you look at Christine's whole chart? I have a feeling you didn't look at Christine's whole chart. What if Christine had a Gemini moon? That changes the dynamic, okay? Listen, you little Gemini Virgo, like if Christine, the Capricorn, had a Gemini moon, she would have been making y'all laugh. It would have balanced out her Capricorn placements, So let me make the case for Christine. Did you even look at her chart? You didn't even give her a chance. This is why sun sign astrology is ruining the world, okay? And this is why a lot of people that don't know anything about astrology or birth charts, and they just think like, oh, there's like 12 zodiac signs, which means everyone in the world is divided by 12 different personality types. Like, no. That's not a thing. So if you're going to have an opinion about things, such strong opinions about things, at least learn more about it. Be educated on it before you decide that you don't believe in it or that it's not accurate, So yeah, it's just so funny. This Virgo/Gemini house is a special place where soft, mutable signs can run free untethered by cardinal authorities. So I want to know, since when are all the mutable signs soft? I'm genuinely asking the class. This is Yap Therapy, right? Yap Therapy is in session, which means you guys are here with me, my students, my pupils, my clients. You let me know. Are all the mutable signs soft? Because I don't think so. I mean, I'm sorry. Even calling Virgo soft is hilarious to me. Since when is a Virgo soft? Since when is Sagittarius soft? Like, I could see Gemini maybe and Pisces being soft. Pisces definitely. But, like, calling all the mutable signs soft, I mean, maybe she's referring to them being soft in the sense that, yeah, they're free to run untethered by cardinal authorities. That's a fact. You know what I mean? Like, mutable signs, their biggest fear is having to do the same thing and rules to be involved, right? Except for Virgo. That funny little wild card of a mutable sign. Virgo is a mutable sign, but they changed the rules of being a mutable sign. Virgo wants to change and shift and become better in every way that they can, so that's how they're mutable. But also they have a strict code of ethics and just code of life when it comes to doing things their way, right? So Virgo, I would not really call them someone that is soft and running around untethered like the other mutable signs. I just think that's hilarious. So let me know actually if you have ever, besides, I mean, included in dating too, have you ever met someone and you found out their sign and you're like, eh? Or if you worked with someone and you found out your boss is like, let's say, I don't know, an Aries, and you're like, yeah, I knew I didn't like you. Tell me all of those down below, because I want to know. I want to know if you ever judged someone for their zodiac sign and it made you actually move different when you found that out. And this is a safe space. I'm not going to judge you. I just want to know. I genuinely want to know if that is something that you've ever done. If you've used your knowledge of astrology and their sign to make decisions where you no longer are associating with them. I would love to know, because I think we've all done it at some point where we've judged someone based on their sign. But I think the more I learned astrology and I grew as an astrologer, you know, I realized like people are multidimensional. Obviously, they have a whole birth chart, and two people can have the same birth chart but show up differently in the world because of their life experience and because of what they've gone through and how much pull they have towards self-development. I think that makes such a difference in who you are as a person in this world. I mean, even just thinking about twins, right? Like, yeah, they're the same and they have these connections, and some twins are just like butt buddies for the rest of their life. Some aren't. These are two people that are supposed to be the same, but obviously their personalities are going to be different because their perception of the world is different and the experiences they go through are different, right? Like, people aren't treating the twins the same everywhere they go, right? So they're not going to be the same person because they're experiencing different things externally, right? So the same could be said for two people that have the same two birth charts, right? Like people that are born in the same hospital next to each other, right? Like, they have the same birth chart if they were born at the same time. But they grew up in different families. They grew up in different socioeconomic levels, right? So like, it all makes such a difference. And yeah, so just let me know when was the last time you judged someone for their zodiac sign. And yeah. Okay, also speaking of astrology, it's so funny when this happens. Obviously, you know, the people in my life know I'm an astrologer, so I get texts from people asking me about like what's happening in the sky, what's happening to the planets, and I love it. You know what I mean? I love it because it's what I love to talk about, right? So it doesn't bother me. Now, I never feel inclined to do like a whole reading, you know what I mean? But like, if they want to ask me the vibes, like, I'll tell you the vibes, right? Like, this is something that I feel passionate about and that I felt called to learn in this journey, on this journey, in this planet, on this planet. What am I saying? And because of that, I feel like it's my purpose and my duty to share my knowledge with people when I feel inclined to, right? So it never bothers me. So the other day, my sister texted me. She's like, oh, like, I heard what's happening, you know, in the sky. Like, I heard August is going to be a crazy month in astronomy. When I tell you I hollered, I was like, in astronomy. First of all, I explained to her what's going on with like eclipses. And I'm like, oh, by the way, and it's astrology, not astronomy. Astronomy is for like astronauts, you know, you feel me? She giggled and she was like, no, it was like a typo. And I'm like, I believe her. Why would she lie about that? But it's just so funny. Like, it reminded me of those memes where people are like, and they want to tell you that they don't believe in astronomy. And it's like, it's just so funny because it's never actually happened to me before where someone was like, so like, you study astronomy, or like, what's going on with the astronomy of the world? It just made me giggle and I wanted to share it with you guys. Oh my God. I saw this deep quote on Instagram, and I wanted to share with you guys and talk about it. So I'll post it here. It's by Brandon Collinsworth on Instagram. And it said, it's not who you are that holds you back. It's who you think you are not. And that did things for me. It made me sit there and really, really think about it. We assume like, okay, like the reason I'm insecure is because of this. The reason I'm insecure is because I'm this way and I'm that way, and, you know, blah, 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 right? And we all have insecurities, right? I think every single person on this planet has insecurities, even people that you least expect. Everyone deals with insecurities. But it's a matter of locking in and knowing who you are and who you have the potential to be and just following down that path, right? Because I think a lot of times we just think to ourselves, okay, well, I'm this way, and because I'm this way, this is my life, right? Like, this is my life. Like, this is my journey because I am this way, right? And these are my limitations because I am this way, right? When really, actually, your limitations are there because you have told yourself you are not the person who deserves to have the other things outside of those limitations, right? And that is the sad part of life, is you really have to sit there and tell yourself, what have I told myself that I'm not? You know, what have I told myself that I'm incapable of? And it's honestly not an easy task, and it can be really triggering, right? Because nobody really wants to sit there and talk about the limitations that they've placed on themselves. I think it's easier to be the victim when you say, well, this is who I am. Like, I don't do that. This is who I am. Whereas when you tell yourself the reason I'm not getting the things I want, the reason I'm not, doing the things that I want, the reason I don't have the life that I want is because I told myself I am not those things and I am incapable of having those things. It takes the power back, right? Like you're like almost telling yourself, oh, I'm the reason I don't have those things. And I don't think people are ready for that conversation, right? Like that's a hard conversation to have, to admit to yourself the reason I don't have the things that I want and I'm not getting the things that I want, I'm not who I want to be, is because of me and the limitations that I've placed on myself, right? It's much easier to just be like, well, this is who I am. Well, life's happened to me and this is who I am. So that's it. That's what I have to work with, right? These are the boundaries that are around me, and that's just what I have to work with because this is who I am, right? Whereas if you were to admit to yourself, well, actually, I've told myself that I'm not those things, which prevents me from going after the things that I want because I've already told myself that I'm not the type of person that gets those things, right? It kind of takes the power back in a way too. You know what I mean? So like if you were to admit to yourself, well, these are the beliefs that I've taught myself, you can easily be the person that takes those beliefs away, right? At the end of the day, it's your journey. It's your life, right? So yes, you might have learned those limitations through, whoever it was that grew up around you, right? Your parents or your siblings or whatever, right? Like whatever you took on that you want to unlearn. You also have the power to be the one that changes those things, right? Changes those limitations. But I think it's all about admitting to yourself, I'm my own biggest enemy. And I think a lot of people don't want to have that conversation because, like I said, it's so much easier to victimize. And don't get me wrong, there are obviously so many things outside of our control that can prevent us from reaching our goals and having our dream life, right? But the power ultimately rests in your hands, right? To be like, no, like the version of me that has those things exists. That's what manifestation is, right? Alignment, you being the person that has the things that you want, right? You don't get the things that you want. You don't manifest the things that you want and then you become a happier version of you because you have those things. You become that version internally, right? You embody that version of you that has those things, and then it puts you in alignment to have those things, right? Like, does that make sense to you? Because I think a lot of people, the term manifestation, I think it's fairly new, right? However you want to look at the timing of things, I think it's fairly new. Like people are learning to manifest, right? And I think a lot of people, me included, we thought, okay, well, I just have to think about it. I have to want it. And then I get it. And when I get it, I'll feel so good, right? And that's not it at all. It has to start with the internal work because it comes back to you feeling like you deserve it. And if you don't feel like you deserve it, you internally are not that version of you that gets it, right? Because the version of you that has the things that you want, let's say the version of you that has their dream house, right? The version of you that has their dream house is probably relaxed, right? They're probably very grounded because they have their dream home. It's paid for. They feel good. They feel safe, right? They're not leading with this desperate energy of, I want it, 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 right? That version of you is not going to be the version of you that has the house, right? Because the version of you that has the house is operating at a relaxed, calm state because it already has the thing, right? So I think that is the hardest part about manifestation. Like when you reach that point where you realize, okay, I need to internally shift my vibe and my energy, right? To embody the version of me that has the things that I want. It's kind of a mind fuck if you really think about it, because you're like, well, how do I do that? How can I act like I have it when I don't, right? And that's the hard part, right? Like it's easier said than done, but you can do it. You can really, really do it. And I think it also comes back to your nervous system, right? I think when our nervous system is calm and relaxed and is operating, at its highest potential, right? Our nervous system is doing its thing, right? We're not operating, off of survivor mode. I think that's when we also get everything that we want easily, right? Because once again, when your nervous system is calm, when your nervous system is healthy, you are probably very happy, right? Like you have everything you want. You feel safe, right? And it comes back to also, that saying of like, well, you'll get everything you want when you stop thinking about it, right? So what is that? When your nervous system is calm, right? It's because you have everything you want, right? So it all kind of goes together. Like if you want the life of your dreams, you have to internally shift your mindset and your nervous system, right? Your energy to be calm, because that version of you that has it is calm and is happy and is at a relaxed state because it has those things, right? If you're chasing it and you're leading with that desperate energy, you're going to be chasing that version of you forever because you're not in alignment with that version of you, right? And that's something that I'm even working on, you know? Also as a mercurial moon, right? Like as a Gemini moon, I'm constantly thinking. And then I have my Scorpio energy that constantly wants and desires and gets obsessed with things, right? Like when I want something, I can't help but think about it and think about it and think about it. And then my Gemini moon, it can really rattle my internal world. It does rattle my internal world because Gemini energy is scattered, right? And because of that, I can really, really get in my head, right? That's why like meditating as a Gemini moon at the beginning, when I started meditating, I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to shut up this mind? Because this mind just goes and goes and goes and goes. And I don't know how long I could do this for. You want me to just sit here quiet with these thoughts? And then the more I did it, the easier it became, right? So especially if you have a mercurial moon, I get it. If you're just a mercurial heavy, if you have a mercurial heavy chart, I get it. Like your mind is constantly processing new information, right? So it's hard to try to become that version of you, right? That is calm, that has those things. But I encourage you to do it. Lead a life that, has some sort of serenity in it, right? Because the version of you that has everything that you want, that person's happy. Like really sit there and be like, okay, these are the things that I want. If I have all those things, how would I feel? Like really, like how would I feel? I'd probably be happy. I'd probably feel grateful. I'd probably feel at peace knowing that I have the things that I've always wanted, right? So I encourage you to try that. That's my little trick for you. It's not easy, but it's doable, right? Sit there and continue to embody the energy and the emotions of the version of you that has everything you want. And another thing that I've been embodying, let's just talk about it all the spiritual shit that I've been into lately, right? Mindset shifts that I've been trying to embody. I forgot what it was. I forgot who it was, but I saw someone online talking about, I think it was from the Diary of the CEO podcast, which I love. I forgot who it was though. I forgot which interview it was, but they were talking about how they go about life, right? And it was this older man, I think. And he was like, I just say yes. And anything that happens, I just say yes. Bad experiences that happen, I say yes. Going through a breakup, yes. Whatever experiences are happening to you in life, right? Obviously, like there's trauma. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about most things in life that are happening that are, hardships that you go through, right? Or like things that happen outside of your plan, outside of what you thought it would be like, right? The things that rock you and shake you on this journey that is life, right? Just say yes, right? And I think that directly corresponds with, surrendering, right? When it happens, just say yes. Instead of sitting there and being like, but why? But why? Just say yes. Move along with it, right? And when I thought about it, I'm like, this is also a beautiful way to take your power back, right? Because as things are happening to you, and instead of sitting there and being like crying over it or getting angry at it, you just say yes. Like you just tell yourself, I don't know why. I don't know why this is happening. Yes, it sucks that it's happening. But for some reason, the universe, the all-knowing universe needed this to be a part of my journey. So let's go on it. Let's go on this ride. Let's see. Like, what can I do? It's already happening, right? So let's just go along with it and we'll see what I learn along the way, right? And I think I always say this on this channel is that you are always going to get through it. Think about how far you've come in life. Think about all those days. Let's say you went through a breakup. Let's say you didn't get into your dream school. Let's say you had a terrible roommate. Let's say you had a toxic family. Anything, right? Anything at all. Anything. It could be a car crash. Like just so many hard things that so many of us go through, right? Big or small. You couldn't help but think like this is the worst day ever. This is the worst heartbreak ever. This is so hard. And yet you are here and you got through it, right? So I want us to remember just how resilient we are. And when things happen outside of your control in life, just say yes. Say yes because you're welcoming this energy to teach you something, and just know that you're moving forward. You're not going to be locked in a room, right? As a metaphor, you're not going to be locked in a room with this experience for the rest of your life. Life is changing. The only constant is change in life, right? So no matter what there is going to be a time where you step ahead of that hurdle, right? So might as well just face it head on and just say yes. All right, yes. And I always say this, the universe loves courage, right? So courage isn't the absence of fear. It's taking action even when the fear is residing within you, right? So even if things are happening and you're angry and you're sad and you're annoyed, yes, I get it. I totally get it. I'm an emotional water sign. I have a Leo Mars. It squares my Pluto and Scorpio, right? So I get it. I get angry. I get angry when things don't go my way too, but I've gotten a lot better at it. And I think it's just so important to just be like, you know what? I have no control over this. So yeah, let's get it. Let's see. Let's see. And I guarantee you're just going to become stronger after every single hurdle. But you sitting there and trying to have a think piece about why it happened, you think the universe is going to reward you for that? I mean, what do you get out of it, right? There's self-awareness, right? And really trying to understand your spiritual journey and what you're learning from this. But then there's sitting there and letting it take over and you not taking any action in life in other ways just because of this one thing that happened to you, right? Now you're just stagnant, because you're sitting there trying to think about why this bad thing is happening to me. Why is it happening to me? Why is it happening to me? Fine. Give yourself a day or two to sit there, think about why it's happening to you. And then I'm going to need you to move on. And then I'm going to need you to do other things, right? Because the longer you sit there, the bigger it becomes, right? Because our minds, they're tricky. They're tricky. They're so smart. They keep us safe. But our minds, whatever you focus on, that's where, where you focus on, that's where your energy flows, right? And your energy is so precious. Your energy is so beautiful. Your energy is currency. So you sitting there trying to think about this one bad thing that is happening to you, you think it's going to stop other bad things from happening to you? And again, not fear mongering, but that's life, right? And there's going to be plenty, hopefully more, 10 times more good things happening to you, right? So let it flow through you and understand that everyone is going through it, right? Like when you're having a bad day, know that you're not the only person in the world having a bad day, even though it's so easy to think that, right? Like we're all in our own minds and we all think our life is the most important. And it is. For every single person, you should think your life is the most important. It is. That has nothing to do with empathy, but I'm talking about your experience is your experience, right? And that's your experience. And of course, you're the main character in your life, right? But there are times where it's really beneficial for you to remember you are not the only person in this world. You're not the only person in this world having a bad day or going through a breakup or going through a friendship breakup or losing their job or whatever it may be, right? You're not the only person. And when you remember that, almost 99% of the time, you feel better. You feel better because you know that, well, listen, if I'm not the only one that's going through it, that means I'm going to get through it because other people have gone through it and they get through it. So why can't I get through it, right? One of the toxic traits that I have when it comes to my relationship with my mind is my mind telling me that, no, you might be the only one that doesn't get through it. Like, this might be the thing that breaks you, right? And I consider myself such a resilient person. And I know that's just a thought. That's not reality. That's just a fear, right? That's just fear talking. That's not my soul. That's not my essence. That's not my journey, right? Fear is not you. And I think that's another good distinction to have. When you are feeling fear, when something scares you, when the idea of something happening scares you, when fear takes over, it is something outside of you, right? It's affecting you. It's affecting your soul and your emotions and your heart, right? But it's not you. So you get to decide how much of the door you want to leave open for that fear. Because yeah, fear is going to knock at your door, right? Fear is going to knock at your door, but you get to decide if you want to open that door wide open, right? Or if you want to just leave a crack there, or if you want to just, keep the door closed and let fear knock, right? Like, I think that's the best way to do it, right? And that's courage, is that you feel it there. You feel it there. You hear it, but you're not letting it in. Right? You're not letting it in. So I think a lot of people assume like, yeah, if I feel fear, it means I can't do it. It means I'm scared. It means that I can never, ever do the things that I want because I'm so scared of what might happen. You are not your fear. It's just this annoying little side character in your journey that wants to tag along. And you get to decide if it tags along or not, right? You get to decide. And you get to decide if you're going to let it in or not, right? And, certain things, certain experiences are more scary than others, right? But I just want you to have that separation between you and your fear. It's not you. It's something that's outside of you. And I think having that distinction, it makes it easier to deal with fear because you realize that you can drop it at any point that you want, right? And even just related, one of my favorite quotes that I saw recently said, "You are here to understand yourself, not to be understood," which is another hard lesson to learn in this life. I think external validation, it can come so easily, but I always say this, it can also be taken away so easily, right? So when you are desperately trying to make people understand you, and that's what love is, not true love, but like maybe toxic love, right? Or when you're insecure and you want to experience love, right? Like you just want to be understood. You want to be understood, and that's the whole point of it, right? Like that's why you fight for someone that maybe doesn't give you attention, right? Like you're desperately trying to have a relationship with someone and make them want you back because you just want them to understand you. If they understood you, then maybe they will actually want you back and they'll want you, right? They'll choose you. And besides the fact that that's desperate energy that you're so much better than, you know what I mean? Like you should never ever beg for someone to want you or to understand you. Again, it gives away so much of your power, right? Because if you took the time to understand yourself, if you really took that time to understand yourself and why you are the way you are, why you have these triggers, why certain things make you feel insecure, right? When you understand yourself, you're not going to be shocked and it's not going to hurt as much when people leave you, right? Because you understand yourself, right? And when you understand yourself, you know what you're working with, right? So when someone tells you something about you, it's not going to be such a shock to the point where it's going to be like this debilitating pain of like, oh my God, they just told me my worst insecurity, right? You already know what your worst insecurities are. You already know what keeps you up at night. You already know, why you are the way you are because of this trauma that you have, right? So you're not going to be begging someone to be with you or to understand you because you understand yourself and you deserve someone who also easily understands you, right? You're not here to freaking tell people this is who I am and this is why I act the way that I act. You know what I mean? Like if you have to convince people to understand you, they're not your people. The right people easily understand you. And I think that's why I feel so bad for, and I've gone through it when I was younger too, for people that are desperately trying to win the approval of an ex or a friendship circle, right? I think that happens often too. With women especially, girls especially, is like there will be an outsider in the friendship circle, right? Or like someone who, is kind of invited to some things and then they're not. And that person, because they want to be accepted and understood so badly, they try hard, right? Like they try hard to fit in or they try hard to change themselves so people want to be around them. And I'm like, you never have to change yourself, right? For the right people, you shouldn't have to change yourself and you should never have to beg to be in other people's presence or to be invited anywhere, right? You really should not. And I just wish I could give my middle school self a hug and let her know those girls were never your friends and they didn't even know themselves and you didn't even know yourself, right? Like when you're going back that far, it's like, yeah, who cares? Like people barely know themselves. You are offended that someone doesn't like you. They don't even like themselves. They don't even know themselves, right? So I think that is the beauty of your self-love journey and of being self-aware, right? Understanding yourself on a deep, soul-fulfilling level, right? Is that you just will not be offended when people don't like you and when people drop you or whatever. Like you'll get butthurt. You're like, what the fuck happened here? But ultimately, you're not going to be as offended and you're not going to let it take over your life, right? Because especially when you know that they're not as self-aware and maybe they don't, have this spiritual knowledge, right, about themselves, you're not going to be offended because you're like, listen, I've done the work. I know who I am. And if you don't want me, great. Like, honestly, I feel sorry for you because I could have had the potential to teach you some things about spirituality. But since you're so far up your own ass and, probably actually a lot of those people, if you're a spiritual person and you're around people that aren't spiritual, you're going to trigger them all the time because as you continue to grow in your spiritual journey and understand yourself, these people are going to become more insecure because, and it's not your fault, but because they're going to have this thought in their head, this fear of like, are they going to see me for who I am? Like, I'm not spiritual like that. Are they judging me? And it's like, no, I'm not judging you. I just have gone through the journey and the dark nights of the soul to understand myself. Therefore, I have the knowledge, the spiritual knowledge to understand you on a deeper level. And if they are not on that journey, if they don't want to be spiritually in tune or, learn more about themselves and why they are the way that they are, you're going to trigger them, because to them, you're a mirror, right? And the more you learn about yourself and become comfortable with yourself, the more you're going to trigger people that are not on that same spiritual journey. So I think spirituality is such an important factor when it comes to compatibility. I think when it comes to friendships and relationships, because if you both aren't spiritual, or if one of you is just super spiritual and the other one isn't, and they don't respect it, I think that can really affect your relationship moving forward, because they're going to feel like they're naked, spiritually naked in front of you, right? Because they don't have the knowledge to look at themselves that way. So they're going to feel like you're looking at them that way, right? And you probably are, because once you become spiritual, everything ties back to spirituality, All right, you guys, that is the end of Yap Therapy today. I know today was a shorter Yap session, but energetically, I feel a little bit tired this week. So I don't want to push myself to talk more than I feel like talking. And this was a great chat and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, this is something that I always tell you guys. Always lead with the energy that you have, right? Like, you have different energy levels depending on the day, depending on the chapter of your life. And if you're not going to check in with yourself about how much energy you have to give, no one's going to do it for you, right? So this is how much energy I had for a Yap session this week. Obviously, it'll be different every week, but I love you guys so, so much. Let me know if you are related to any of the topics that I touched on. Let me know about the astrology question. Okay, don't forget, comment it down below if you ever judged someone for their zodiac sign and what sign it was. If you ever stopped dating someone when you found out what their zodiac sign was, let me know, because I love gossip and I want to know, especially if I'm not involved and I don't know the people. I love to know the tea. All right, so you guys take care of yourselves. Happy Virgo season. Organize your life. I love you, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.